Team, what a lineup!
Once again for Mexico going in the 4-3-3 formation, Juan Carlos Osorio. Rotation. We have a few new names that we haven't seen lately. Jonathan Dos Santos really holding down the midfield. And then, of course, Giovanni Dos Santos back into the lineup up on high with Raúl Jiménez to finish everything off for Honduras. In Azteca, of course, defensive five in the back with two holding midfielders and really allowing Martinez, Alanís, and Andino the freedom to try to do something on their own.
It's a big opportunity for El Profesor Juan Carlos Osorio Arbeláez to have an unforgettable birthday. A day like today, but 56 years ago, El Profesor from Santa Rosa de Cabal was born. Now, with the big opportunity to take Mexico even closer to qualify to Russia 2018. Two national teams are already qualified. One Russia as the host nation, the other one Brazil. Mexico wants to travel to Russia for the 2017 FIFA Confederations Cup with one hand holding the ticket. Kobe Jones for that. El Tricolor will need to beat Honduras and also Team USA. This is how the Hex it's doing right now.
Well, you can see the United States with their victory have jumped up. A lot of this game, pretty much last-ditch effort for Honduras to try to get back into that top three spot with the automatic qualification. And Mexico, as we saw, sitting at the perch, looking down at everyone else.
37 times these two teams have faced each other. 21 wins for the Mexican side, 9 draws, 6 losses, one of them known as El Aztecaso Episode 2. Believe it or not, the last two visits, the last two times that La Bicolor has played in the Colossus of St. Ursula, they have won and they have tied. That's why El Profesor Jorge Luis Pinto Afanador said, no more nerves, no more panic.
Well, you have to talk about the results for Honduras before, of course, but that's a different team. That's a different era. And this Mexican side is thinking that's a different team, a different era. We are coming into dominance. We are on top of the Hex, and they are full of confidence at home at Azteca.
And oh boy, we're going to have a field day trying to analyze what Profesor Osorio will try to do with this team. We have a play on. It's soccer time. On the road to the FIFA World Cup Russia 2018. Mexico is hosting Honduras, wearing green, white, and red. Driving on the first 45 minutes, going from left to right on your screen. That's the Mexican side. The Honduran side will be wearing white and blue. Their options in attack for this very first half will be going from right to left. And there's no more time to talk. Mr. Profesor Pinto said many things on behalf and against his own players, which probably won't suit very well in the group, Kobe.
Yeah, when you're looking at the way this game has started out, Mexico's going to try to slowly control this match. Keep possession, have Honduras consistently moving, and pick and choose their times to try to split and get behind this defense.
First lead pass, long ball for El Bombardero. Bombarder Carlos Alberto Vela Garrido, who surprised everybody being a part of his first conference as a national member of Mexico in more than 5 years. First time he was at a press conference since 2011. He said that he learned from his own mistakes, that he was so happy and proud to represent the Mexican side, and that he wants a clear beginning. Again, Carlos Alberto, who has one of the 23 spots for the Mexican team who will be represented in the FIFA Confederations Cup. This is El Tecatito Jesus Manuel. El Tricolor aiming for Herrera. Héctor Miguel. Drop ball for Reyes. Where is going to play Diego Antonio next season? Carlos Joel. And now Herrera. Gio, who is back with El Tricolor after playing for LA Galaxy. What a season he's having. Very tough ball to control. And the first one who slips from El Tecatito, Jesus Manuel Corona Ruiz. First opportunity to say hello to Francisco X Rivera, who is in a very important position at the Estadio Azteca. Welcome, Francisco.
Thanks, Jorge. Juan Carlos Osorio is very aware of the recent history and rivalry between these two sides. We asked him about the Aztecaso, and he told us that he wants to leave history in the books, history where it belongs, and just focus on inching closer to Russia. With that said, he's not taking any chances with his inter-veterans. So that's why Rafa Márquez and Andrés Guardado are staying on the bench. But he told me that if this game were a final, Guardado would definitely be on the pitch.
But there's also a kind of a final on June 11th, Kobe, against Team USA.
Yeah, it's very interesting. When you look at this Mexican team, you would say, okay, it's not a lot of the regular starters. That maybe he's thinking also that he's saving some of his regulars for the big match against the United States that's coming up in a few days. But one of the big issues is you cannot overlook this Honduran side at home because they have gotten the result before, and they plan to do it again.
Wait a minute, Mr. Hall of Famer. So what you're trying to tell me is that the so-called rotation that Professor Osorio is applying for the Mexican side is not an urban legend when we are seeing the replay of the first foul committed over Héctor Miguel Herrera Lopez.
Yeah, when you talk about that rotation, the good thing about it is you can use that to any way you want to. You could say this is just another part of the rotation when in actuality, as the Professor is thinking, maybe he's saving some of those players to be prepped and ready for the United States.
Here's Mexico trying to create something on the left. First ball for Raúl Jiménez. And it was the first test for this defense from La H. That's with Ricardo Reyes, Bonzi, as Kobe Jones likes to call him. He shattered the original nickname as El Huesos.
I love learning all these new nicknames from these players.
And you're also creating new legends, my friend. This is Jorge Luis Pinto Afanador. He has still some of the attention and some of the pressure away from his own players, especially with this clash against another Colombian coach. Deflection from the Honduran defense, and then the ball was put way far by Luis Ricardo Reyes Moreno. One of the topics that was talked and discussed around La Bicolor was naming Donis Salatier Escobar as the starting goalkeeper. Everybody thought that the coach Pinto was aiming or was going to call Buba Luis Aurelio Lopez, but instead of betting or putting his money on the younger goalkeeper, he betted on the experience of Pimpollo. Reyes with the mid pass. He was finding Jimenez, the first opportunity for Gio. Very well is playing all his penalty area. Pimpollo, Donis Salatier, Escobar Izaguirre. And now Reyes having trouble trying to put the ball away from El Pantanita Elis Martinez. The first 5.5 minutes are gone. And I think you're going to have the last word, Mr. HOF number 13, that both teams are still nervous.
Yeah, I think when you're talking about Honduras, this is good for the way that they want to play right now. They just want to weather the storm over the first 10 minutes. As long as they don't take a goal, they are happy. For Mexico, the pressure is on them.
Captain Miner put it away, and then you hear the booing from the stands. This was the presentation for Oliver David Morazan Torres. Despite the big difference between both teams at the standings of the Hex, both have to win. This is a must-win situation for both of them, El Tri, because they want to keep getting closer to that automatic ticket to the World Cup. And Honduras, after what Team USA did today against the Trinitarian team, they have to win if they don't want to fall very far behind.
Yeah, Honduras took a bruising with that 6-0 loss to the United States, put them in a very precarious position. They need victories. They need to pick up 3 points if they possibly can. 1 point they would be happy with, but after that, they really need to start picking up more points. 6 goals, when you're talking about the tie and the goal differential, not a good place to be.
Jonah trying to complicate Morazan. Honduras trying to put the ball down, to control it, to keep possession. That's going to be a very big task, but also it's a very important key for them to have a good result. There was a little block by Reyes Rosales, but everything inside of the rules. This is the way to Mexico to reach this 5th day of competition as the leader. 10 points, 3 wins, 1 draw. There's a foul over el Rulo. Raúl Alonso Jiménez Rodríguez. Minor Alexis Figueroa, a very tall and tough guy. This is when you are reminding your opponent, here I am, and I'm going to be here for the next 90 minutes, my friend. Keep it cordial.
Well, this is exactly what you're supposed to do. He gets in, gets a little rough. Let's be honest, Jimenez goes down a little bit easy. It's not like it's anything hard or rough on the foul. Just a little bit of a push. Good call by the referee.
It goes Gio with a free kick, and it was deflected. Alanís made some contact, and there was nothing good for the Mexican side. Francisco, what's your report on La Bicolor?
Well, Honduras has been dealing with a semi-full team, but at least they've been here since Saturday. They actually train in Cuernavaca, which is about 2 hours away from here, and that's the city where Mexico held their last camp before the game against Costa Rica. Cuernavaca is about 2,000 feet higher than Tegucigalpa, so that helped them get acclimated to the match. They didn't even get to Mexico City until earlier this morning.
It was a loose ball. Jonah dropped it, and now it's Minor Figueroa. 50-50 ball, and there's a foul. Was committed by Andino? Wasn't he the victim of that?
I mean, well, here's the look. And I have to agree with you there. It looks like Andino's the one that actually takes the hit in the back.
He was protecting his position, but the one facing towards the ball and attacking it was Carlos Salcedo.
It looks like a little bit of maybe that home field advantage that we always mention.
How many memories would Kobe Jones have of those kind of plays playing in Estadio Azteca? We have still more than 80 minutes to remember those stories.
Yeah,
White ball, very high to be controlled by Jesus Manuel Corona. I'm listening to you, HOF number 13.
Yeah. Way too many memories to count at Azteca Stadium. A few good, very few good ones. A lot of disappointments.
El Profe Pinto was questioned about 2 players. One, Rommel Kyoto, the other one, Roger Espinosa, both injured. Rommel Samir, one of the 3 players from Houston Dynamo. And this Honduran team is working, trying to get better. But Roger Espinosa couldn't be part of the team.
We'll take another look, and really,
it was Alanís.
Yeah, Alanís just gets undercut.
What a motivation for Oswaldo Alanís Pantoja. He incorporated to the Mexican side after winning the Liga MX title with Chivas. That helps yourself arriving to the national team, especially before such an important tournament as FIFA Confederations Cup.
Yeah, whenever you win a championship, it puts yourself in high regard with the coach. Because the coach is wondering, okay, if you won a championship, you had to be an integral part in getting that team there. So coming in here, Alanís is coming in with confidence. You know, what coach doesn't want a confident defender in the back?
Ready at the right corner arc. It's El Tecatito, Jesus Manuel Corona Ruiz. That's a very nice and funny story about his nickname of Jesus Manuel. I'll tell you about that later. In swing. The ball was a 50-50, and now there's a foul over Jonah. There it is. And it was against Jorge Aarón Claros Juárez.
Now, it's interesting because I'm going to put myself in the position of the referee. If I'm the referee and I see it from this angle, and of course we have a bit of a better angle, I'm letting that play out because both players have their arm outstretched trying to block out the other player. You know, so for me, I would let that play on and just continue it.
And Professor Pinto was asked about the referees, and he said, all I'm asking, it's a fair one.
Every coach will always ask that.
Ready, set, fire! The ball was deflected. opportunity for Giovanni Alex Dos Santos Ramirez to try luck with the left cannonball. It was a bomb.
Yeah, Giovanni Dos Santos hits it with power and pace. It looks like Morazan is the one that goes down.
But it wasn't straight. It wasn't a full power blow, the one that Oliver David felt. Again, as Tecatito from the right corner arc. A little bit of a deflection. The screen was made by Jimenez. Big play, the dribbling, and there's another foul over Corona Ruiz. And he's asking, he's requesting for the first yellow card. I don't think it was enough for that, right?
Well, here's the foul.
Little step.
Now, this is just a great technical ability in the small space, and you see the foul, but I think what Corona was angry about was that little bit of reaction afterwards by Figueroa. I think he felt that he might have been touched there, might have been kicked extra, and that's where he was appealing for the yellow card from the referee.
The foul was committed by Henry Figueroa, one of the two Figueroas in defense for La H. Only two men for the wall. It's Herrera and Gio. The righty will be El Zorrillo. The lefty will be Gio. Here comes Hector. Fire! Oh, and it was deflecting. El Pimpollo, Donny, Salatier, Escobar Aguirre.
Oh, and this is just a setup perfectly for a shot on goal, and it's just well done by Escobar. That experience to not try to catch that one, but just to knock it away.
Another corner kick. It's the third one. The header was very, very complicated, and there are men down from both teams. It was Salcedo for the Mexican side. Morazan is down, and the other one from the distance. Hard to see the face from over here.
Yeah, it's difficult to tell, but one thing that we have seen is just and there's the connection, and it's actually the two Honduran players end up running into each other. Carlos Salcedo actually skips through there.
It is Crisanto. He ended up being caught by the action coming towards him. And as usually happens, he got the worst part of everything.
Yes, he did. Yes, he did. But what I do like from what I've seen from Mexico on these set pieces, each and every player is selling themselves to try to get on it. It's not a slow run and then a stop and then a jump towards the ball. No, it's a direct, powerful run by a player. If it's too far, that's okay. Another player is coming right after trying to get on the end of it. Here's another look, and you can see.
Yeah, he got hit by Salcedo and Morazan. And probably the angle.
Yeah, it's the angle of it because he's paying attention to the ball. He doesn't see the players that are coming in. He takes the hit. And here's that experience. Not trying to catch that one as that ball's moving pretty good. Just fist that one and punch it away.
That was a penalty kick from Johnny Palacios over Oswaldo Alanís. He was literally hugging him and pulling him away from the ball. Francisco X Rivera, we're listening to you. What about the report of El Profesor, the birthday boy, Osorio Arbeláez?
Well, all throughout the U.S. tour in the last few games for Mexico, I've seen Osorio very restless, very nervous when it comes to his defensive unit. Oswaldo Alanís is one of the guys inserted into the lineup today instead of Hector Moreno. As soon as they had a break due to the injury, he was the first player that he approached Osorio, and he wants him to stay back. So Alanís might be the sweeper when Mexico starts building all the way from the back.
Are you ready to go for the first nickname of the night, Kobe?
Yes, go ahead.
Felix Joan Crisanto is ready to go back after getting the medical attention. His nickname is Calaverita. You know what that means?
No.
Little skull.
Little skull?
Calaverita.
Calaverita.
There you
I
go.
remember that.
There you
All
go.
right.
But your favorite so far is Bonesy, right? El Huesos.
Exactly.
Who didn't have a good game against Croatia, and so far hasn't been a key on Mexico's favor. Trying to drive the ball. Jimenez is putting it behind. Now it's Salcedo. Again, Carlos Joel. This goes for Reyes. Finding Alanís, and now it's time to say hello to Francisco Guillermo Ochoa Magaña. Honduras haven't had any opportunity so far. Possession has been on Mexico's side, but despite how much better of a team has El Tri been, we're still 0-0. This is Vela. Oh, that's a very tough foul, and this will bring the first yellow card for Johnny Eulogio Palacios Cacho.
And this yellow card, it's easy for the referee to call. The ball has gone by. The knee comes in for the tackle. But this all stems from Honduras giving up the ball too easily, not taking control and having a passion to keep the ball. They steal it from Mexico, have the opportunity to go forward, but they give it away, and Mexico's able to get it right back. So after a while, when you're at Azteca Stadium, you're playing this much defense, the legs are going to start going.
There goes the cross, and then it was alone, but out of balance. The opportunity goes over the crossbar by Diego Antonio Reyes Rosales.
And Diego Reyes has to do much better than that. And he shows a little frustration there. He's wide open, about 8 yards out with a free header. And not only him, two other players on Mexico are wide open in front of the net. And there's that example. The legs are starting to go already, having a tough time for the Honduran players to catch their breath and stay mentally in this game.
Mexico is not only winning the possession battle, it's also showing better things with dead balls. Honduras hasn't been able to cover the Mexican players after the free kicks.
Yeah, and you would have to expect that that has been an emphasis from Juan Carlos Osorio, is to be better on set pieces on the offensive side and defensive side, making sure that you can create opportunities to score, because set pieces can change a match.
But my friend Kobe Jones, still 0-0, 0-0. No pasa nada, mi hermano. That's how Professor Pinto would say so far after the very first 20 minutes of play. Today is the 85th qualifier that Mexico plays at home. 72 out of those 85 have been played in this iconic stadium, Estadio Azteca. Only 2 losses. It was the perfect fortress until Costa Rica on the way to Seoul, to Korea and Japan in 2002. Then Honduras came here in September of 2013 on the road to Brazil 2014, and oh my God, after 6 minutes, Mexico was leading that game thanks to Oribe Peralta. Honduras came from behind, and the rest of the story is history. That was El Aztecaso episode 2. Very long ball trying to stretch the field, and the Honduras, at least on the bench, some of them are nervous, some others are analyzing, commentating the game. But El Professor Pinto was very clear. This group of players finally understood my idea. Now it's time to be perfect, developing it.
Well, no better time than the present when you're in a pressure situation where you need to win. Well, that's when you're hoping that your players are understanding what you want from them.
Here's Herrera. Palacios is waiting for him. Mano a mano that won Héctor Miguel. He was reaching the end of the field. He had to stop. This throw-in will be for the Mexican side, 22 minutes. Mexico beat Trinidad and Tobago 2-0. Ellis. And now Honduras is dropping the ball to Escobar Izaguirre. Vela. Another foul. This one, no. I thought it was committed by Izaguirre, who is assisting on the left. Andino. Again, Milo with the left leg. Swing out. And the one who puts it away, it was with Ricardo Reyes Moreno. This will be the first corner kick in the whole game for La Bicolor.
And you mentioned everything before doesn't matter because the score is still 0-0. Well, the longer it stays 0-0, more pressure on this Mexican side, because then all the little things start creeping into their head about Honduras' results in previous matches here at Azteca Stadium.
Here's the man with the highlights in the head, El Zurdo, the lefty, Mario Roberto Martinez Hernandez. Swing in. Ooh, that was very close. But the ball will go side to side. On FS1, the stakes could be higher as bitter rivals clash again. Clint Dempsey and the U.S. men's national team take on Chicharito at Mexico in a crucial World Cup qualifier. Sunday, coverage begins at 7:30 Eastern on FS1. Herrera was very quick to take the ball away from the people, and now the foul is against El Tricolor.
This is where the testing is going to begin for Mexico. These set pieces.
That was Izaguirre. Good opportunity for Milo. He has the space. There goes the cross. Very well defended by El Flaco, Diego Antonio Reyes Rosales.
Now, well done by Diego Reyes, but this is just a sloppy defensive effort by Mexico, allowing two players to be out wide against one. The transition, the shift over comes late, so the ball gets in for the cross.
Another opportunity for El Zurdo, the lefty. Sends a signal with the right arm. Mario Roberto in swing. The ball is going from right to left. And that's it. Another lost opportunity for La Bicolor. Now that you were mentioning that the Mexican side got sloppy after that dead ball, aren't they relaxing after the first 25 minutes?
Yeah, they were very confident at one point.
There's a man down. Now opportunity for the lefty. Boom! Fire! And the strike from Mario Roberto Martinez Hernandez goes above the crossbar.
Now this is where Salcedo goes down. Just a little bit of a touch around the neck, and he makes more of it than it truly is. And the issue for me is, you saw Mexico was claiming for them to kick the ball out, but Honduras, with the opportunity to go to goal, what did they do? They said, forget it, we're going to try to score. So I think they set the marks, they set the tone of this match for the rest of the game.
So if the touch that Salcedo suffered was so soft, as you mentioned, was he flopping?
Yes, of course. He's trying to draw a foul from the referee.
Are you creating a new name? Like Salcedo the Flopper? Oh my goodness.
I didn't know that anything I said could be turned into a nickname for someone.
Am I awakening the dragon that lives inside of you, Kobe Jones?
Just maybe.
There's the homophobic chant again. That's probably will never be eradicated, and it is a sad story. There's Corona fighting for possession against one, against two, and before the third one, he gives the ball to Reyes now. Herrera with the lead pass. Very long. And apparently the timing and the synchronicity between the Mexican players is broken.
Yeah, and this is the problem for Mexico, because they were starting out very well, looking good. But as the game goes on, Honduras is starting to catch their second wind, starting to get into the game a little bit. All of a sudden, their confidence builds. Mexico starts to drop, and all those little things come into the mind. Will this be the same as before with Honduras? Will Honduras get a result? So they need someone to step up and be a leader and take control of the game.
Here's Panterita. Great defending from El Huesos Reyes, taking the ball away from Elis Martinez. Now it's Captain Minor Figueroa. Everybody remembers El Aztecaso episode 2. That was on the way to Brazil 2014, but on the way to Russia 2018, Honduras already visit Estadio Azteca. That was in the semifinal stage of this qualification in CONCACAF, and it was a 0-0. That was on September 6, 2016. 2 consecutive visits, 1 victory, 1 draw for La Bicolor. Herrera spreading the play. Now it's Salcedo with a cross. There's a push from behind. There's a man down, and Gio is calling Drew Fisher's attention because there was a push from behind.
Well, that's exactly what Giovanni Dos Santos was calling for, some type of push or at least a corner kick out of that situation. But the referee is right there. Now, you're not going to get that call. There's so many bodies coming together.
Especially because of the flow of the play. The ball was a little behind. And with the flow, everybody went ahead of it. Mexico started strong. But now, Honduras, it's apparently winning the battle for possession. Same story happened against Croatia. Is it a deja vu? Opportunity. The ball put through. Enes with the cross! That was a very close call with the goal mouth open.
What an opportunity. When you look at this is really coming down to Honduras winning the battle of the midfield. They're winning the ball in the midfield, and then that's allowing the players like Ellis to get that ball onto their feet and try to go to goal. And that looked like actually 2 players from Mexico touched it. Yes, and it does.
It was Salcedo. But I believe that he doubted at the last moment if he should touch the ball or not, because sometimes you put it inside of your own goal.
Well, that's why just hitting the ball sometimes low and hard across the face of the goal is the right thing to do, because the defender is facing his own goal and doesn't want to make a mistake.
Left corner arc. The opportunity is for the Pitbull. In swing. There's a player from Honduras down. And like the other 2 opportunities from the other side of the field, the ball went from one side to the other one. And believe it or not, Kobe, we're tied in corner kicks, 3-3.
That's amazing. But with that, with the corner kicks, that's like the 2nd or 3rd corner that has been hit way too far by Honduras. Still not used to the altitude and how the ball flies. When you're higher up, the ball's going to fly a little bit farther than you're used to.
Especially with the nowadays soccer balls, correct? Because it's lighter, the material is different. I mean, it's
lighter, yeah, and it's built to cut through the air, and that's exactly what's happening at this altitude. You can see on set pieces and crosses, the Honduran side is struggling a little bit in being accurate.
I was going to say it's different from your days of playing, but it hasn't been that long. Ball to the center. Oh, very good cross defending. And Honduras is breaking the opportunity here this time is Emilio Arturo Izaguirre Giron. Very quick throw in by Mexico. This is Herrera. Now Vela getting the ball, having Gio on the right, still driving, trying to dribble. El bombardero from far. Fire! Left cannon leg, and it was far from the goal. Luis Ricardo Reyes Moreno.
You can see that little clearance by Izaguirre that clears that one out, and that really is spurred by Vela. He has been the spark. Every time that he's on the ball, Mexico looks dangerous going forward. So those are the times that you actually have to say, you know what, let's force it into him. Get the ball to his feet and let him create. He is starting to come into his zone. Vela is the player that can make something happen for Mexico right now.
Francisco X. Rivera Giovanni joined the Mexican side for these qualifiers and also the FIFA Confederations Cup. He made the team, so he is leaving the very first minutes of this new stint as a national player.
Well, he was actually the last player to join current Mexico camp. And there was an agreement between this club, the LA Galaxy, and the national team that he wouldn't join camp until this week's qualifying games. I spoke to him yesterday, and he told me that he feels that he's in a great environment. He really likes the group that he's in. Everyone's getting along great, and he feels that every single player in this camp is contributing with high quality to the team.
This is Byron. A duel between two MLSers. There's Jonah. Now Vela. This is Herrera.
Honduras is doing an excellent job now in the defensive lines. They have the 5 in the back that are sitting there. They're playing a little bit high, but so far have been fortunate that no one in Mexico has broken through.
I have the feeling, Kobe Jones, that neither Vela nor Gio have found their place in the pitch so far.
I think Vela is starting to come into it a little bit more when he gets the ball to his feet. I think Giovanni needs to get more into the game. He needs to find it a little bit more. What has been successful for Mexico is getting the ball up high, playing it in high, dropping it off to someone running through and then going beyond that back line. Because the back line, though positioned well, still a little slow to react.
Here comes the younger Dos Santos, el header! Player. Goal! Score by Alanís!
Well, you can see that Alanís comes out and just goes right. He's unencumbered, going to the ball and connects. Maynard Figueroa is too late to get to the ball. The man coming off the post, too late to get to the ball. And Alanís gets there first, and it's just a redirection of a flick to the back post, and Escobar has no opportunity at that time. What a great start, coming straight into the national team and getting a goal in the qualifier.
And that's also something else that Alanís brings to the table that Professor Osorio loves about his players. Not only limiting yourself to one position or one talent. Alanís can also be a left back. Here comes the cross. And it was Alanís itself clearing, putting it on Vela, and there's a foul from behind. Another one that suffers Carlos Alberto Vela Garrido. We were finishing the concept around Oswaldo Alanís Pantoja. He can play as a central defender as he's doing tonight. He can also be a very good left back, and when he goes with the head, he is a killer on the rivals' penalty area.
Well, set pieces. And that's the thing about the modern day defender. You cannot only just be a good defender, you need to bring something else into it. And being able to score goals and be a threat on set pieces, well, that gives you that extra that most likely will get you onto the team that's going to Confederations Cup, that's going to World Cup, and that keeps you on the national team for years to come.
36 minutes of play. Mexico with the 1-0 has so far 13 points. The last 4 qualifying stages in CONCACAF, going to the last 4 FIFA World Cups. The third place have needed 16 and 17 points. So far, the Mexican side, it's potentially 4 points away from qualifying theoretically to Russia 2018.
What a difference a round makes. When you look at this Mexican side, got through at 4th place to go in the playoff with 11 points. If they hold on here tonight and end up with 13, they're already beyond their total in the last qualifying round.
In all the pressure that a victory can take off Professor Osorio's back. Not only that, but if El Tricolor is able to beat Team USA on June 11th, they will go with a very high motivation to the 2017 FIFA Confederations Cup.
Well, that's the ultimate goal, right? When you're talking about Juan Carlos Osorio and his rotation, it's getting everybody some time getting the right combination in. If they get the victory here, if they are successful against the U.S.
There's a lead ball. And clearing it was Escobar. A week ago, on June 1st, Javier Hernandez celebrated his 29th birthday. He had a cake. Everybody puts their head inside of the cake. Mexican tradition. Would the Mexican players do the same to Professor Osorio later tonight?
He's the coach. No. That's not happening.
Hey, there are some that are not going to Russia for the Confederations Cup. So,
if they're not going to Russia, they're not hanging around. Trust me.
Wasn't able to keep the ball on the Mexican side with Ricardo Reyes, but who is keeping everything together very close to the players is Francisco X Rivera.
Just adding up to Kobe's comment about Mexico's rotations, and I've talked to a lot of players recently. I'm very surprised to hear that they're very comfortable and satisfied with that strategy by Juan Carlos Osorio. Actually, a comment that was highlighted was from Andres Guardado, who actually said that rotations make players feel important, that they have to be awake and they know they have to work hard every time to get a spot in the lineup.
I completely agree with what Guardado said. It makes every player feel involved. The issue is the responsibility being on the coach to make sure that you truly do follow that rotation. And here we go. One of the players that got rotated in, Alanís, that comes in and scores. And that's what players can do that come into the side that feel motivated, that feel like this is their chance. They give that extra bit.
Here goes Giovanni. Spreading the ball. Now the opportunity would be for Bonsi. Big effort, but there was no result. Did you finish your concept, Kobe? I'm sorry. I interrupted you.
Yeah, no. For the most part, it really just comes down to the coach making sure that everyone's involved, that the coach doesn't just say he's doing a rotation and doesn't rotate everybody, because then all of a sudden you lose the trust of the players.
That applies probably for a club who is playing the league, the cup, in another tournament. You need a wider roster. But when you are coaching a national team, when you have barely 2, 3, 4 days to work with the players, with the pool, for them to understand the way you want to play, what's your idea in the field, it's very hard.
It is very hard, but the issue is if you put it out there and you're with the team long enough where all the players understand that this is the way it is, then all of a sudden it's not quite as hard as you thought, because then players understand, okay, I'm not playing in this one, but I'll probably be in the next one. And that's fine with players if you get them to believe what you're trying to do and you stick with it.
Mexico, it's still insisting on the left side, the one that we can probably designate as the little bit better than the right one. Gio nor Vela haven't been able to create anything on the other side of the field.
I think they've had a much stronger attack on that side, going at Crisanto.
In swing, the ball goes from side to side, and it is with a second opportunity. It was going to be the second goal for the guy who was born in Morelia, Michoacan. Drop ball, and that's going to be easy to play for Bonsi and Huesos. Again, Alanís. He suffered a broken nose during the Mexican League. He had to stop for a couple of weeks, and then he had to play with one of those plastic masks. Something, I don't know if you ever went through that, Kobe, but I believe that has to be the most uncomfortable thing around soccer.
Yeah, I couldn't imagine wearing one of those, as far as, especially if you're a runner, and just the fact of trying to breathe, you know. But like I mentioned, I've never really worn one of those.
That was a very hard charge. I believe that's very close to the territory of the yellow card, and it is second one of the match, second one against Honduras. This time, it's for El Zurdo, Mario Roberto Martinez Hernandez.
And we see this play here. Now, for me, that's a red card. He jumps and connects with the leg. And Martinez there, I'm telling you, he sees the referee reach into the pocket and he thinks it's a red card. I guarantee you, he thinks it's a red card. As he turns away, he's going, thank God it's a yellow, because that should have been a red.
I agree with you. Now, my question is, could there be a possibility that the fourth officer, Kimball Ward, sent Drew Fisher a message through the communication system? Don't do it. Don't do it.
I don't think he would say don't do it. I'd imagine if there's a communication, it would be, hey, that could be a red. I'm looking at that and I'm saying that's a red card.
Yeah, because it was violent enough.
But yeah, it's violent. You're jumping, you're leaving your feet, you're in the air. It's like a karate chop.
Yeah, you're aiming at the player, not at the ball.
Yeah, and you're going studs, connecting with the ankle of another player. You could ruin someone's career.
Now, this is over Corona, but it wasn't as bad as the other one. And that's when Drew Fisher is asking Morazan to be cool. Keep it down. I didn't tell you the story about the nickname of Jesus Corona, right?
I'm scared to hear.
No, don't be scared. I just have to take you back to your days in college, when you used to go for spring break and you used to drink 1 or 2 beers. It's allowed. You were an athlete. There's a very popular brand as Jesus Manuel's last name.
Yes.
Thing is that he started playing for Monterrey, whose sponsor was the other big beer from Mexico. That's why they nicknamed Tecatito, which is like the beer but little.
Ah, okay.
You remember the other name?
No.
There goes the cross from left to right. This is Salcedo. The drop for El Bombardero. Vela with the cross. A flicker. Gio again trying his luck. The ball will be for Honduras.
I heard a whisper, but I'm not going to say it.
Okay. That's the reason why he's named like that, because it was against their own sponsor.
Okay, I'm writing down all this nickname. Yeah. Got that one too.
"45 minutes are gone. Mexico has been the better team, but not without struggle. 2 more minutes. It was Kimball Ward. It's telling us.
Now, as this game goes on, we're in the last 2 minutes of the first half. The onus is on the referee not to lose control of this match, because there's been a couple of tackles over the last few minutes. That could be in a red, could have been an extra yellow, but he's let it go. I will be very curious to see how Honduras continues to play in the second half, if they continue to come in hard, and especially how Mexico responds. If there will be anything a little bit aggressive in their challenges.
Being fair, it's not the worst case scenario for La Bicolor. Why? Because it's only 1 goal. 1 goal will change everything dramatically on their favor. I know it's hard. It's a very tough task, but it's not impossible. That's a foul committed over Jonathan Dos Santos Ramirez. A very discreet first half for the player from Villarreal. That's Alanís. Probably one of the best in this very first 45 minutes.
Yeah, he's been excellent on the defensive side.
And he scored the goal.
Obviously getting the goal. I think, as was mentioned by Francisco X, it's important to have a player come in exuding confidence. And him winning the Mexican League.
There goes Vela. The ball reached the bomber, but then he had every kind of trouble trying to control it, and there's no more. We reach minute 47th, and the first half is history. Oswaldo Alanís Pantoja scored the goal that gives the opportunity to Mexico to lead after the first half. Honduras will have to rethink everything to have a better second half. We'll go to commercial.
I'm talking about Orbelín Pineda, Jesus Molina, and Jesus Dueñas.
That was one of the big questions. Why was he talking about the birthday boy, Professor Osorio? Why didn't he bring the big guns for this match? Especially after knowing the final list for Confederations Cup, which is 3 goalkeepers, Cota, Talavera, and Memo Ochoa. Defenders, Salcedo, Reyes, Araujo, Moreno, Alanís, Layún, and Reyes. Midfielders, Jonah Dos Santos, Héctor Herrera, Rafa Márquez, and Guardado. We have Carlos Vela, Jesus Corona, Marco Fabián, Javier Aquino, and Hirving Lozano. And as strikers, Oribe Peralta, Chicharito, Gio Dos Santos, and Raúl Jiménez.
It's a lot of talent in that squad. And it's an interesting choice that he had in this match. I think, we just have to keep going back to what they talk about, and it's rotation. It's not liked, but he loves doing that rotation, getting players consistently, having games, and feeling like they're part of the team.
Honduras is coming back from the locker room quite late.
They're taking their time.
Does that really work?
Maybe it's a little bit of a mental game. I mean, I'm sure they're going to be hearing something from the FIFA officials about this, because I know they do not like it. I have had that experience where they were trying to rush you out to make sure that you are on time.
But that probably will work. For example, if you are playing away like Honduras is doing, and they're beating Mexico so far.
Yeah, it doesn't seem like it would have much impact when you're down a goal already. I think Mexico is feeling pretty confident at this point.
Yeah, that can be your position, Kobe. They can take all the time they want. They can take all the time they need. We're not in a rush. We're leading. We're leading not only the game, but also the Hex.
Yeah, Mexico's in a very good position, so I'm not sure if it was really any type of mental game that was going on there. Maybe they're just lazy getting out.
I like when you reach your Zen mode. Because when you're going from one nickname to the other one, that's when we are waking the warrior that lives inside of you, my friend. 45 minutes are ahead of us. Honduras will try to rescue another good result, as they have done in their last 2 visits to Estadio Azteca. Play on is what Drew Fisher said. The story has a Mexico leading 1-0. The lone goal was scored by Oswaldo Alanís Pantoja, a champion in Liga MX with Chivas, and a guy who is fighting for the possibility to be a part of the starting 11 on June 18, when Mexico plays Portugal in their first match of the FIFA Confederations Cup. This is the first foul of the second half. It's going to be against Oliver David Morazan Torres.
And that first foul came pretty quick. I mentioned about if this game was going to get a little bit chippy in the second half, and within a minute, there's already a tough tackle.
And there's a concept that it's not written, Kobe, but if it's not for the quality of the foul, it's for the amounts of fouls that some players have committed during the game so far. Morazan, it's one of them. Jonah. Vela got the worst part of the play. And Morazan was in the middle again.
Well, Morazan is playing in that defensive position, one of those 2 holding midfielders to really be in there, destroy everything, and clog up those passing lanes. One of the things he has to do is be that tough tackler. Now he's just got to play a little bit safe, because he's on the radar of the referee right now. A couple of fouls early on in the match. You get a couple more, you can find yourself picking up a card.
That's Salcedo clearing the ball. 50-50 that Jimenez put it down. Now we're going back to Carlos Joel Salcedo. Reyes. Beware, because Diego has committed a couple of mistakes playing for the national team that ended up in guns against. This is a foul committed over El Zurdo Mario Roberto Martinez. Very discreet game for El Zurdo. So is for Eric Candino. And what about Albert Ellis, the striker, the killer? Without balls, you can't do anything.
Yeah, you can run around up top all day, but if you're not getting the service with the ball at your feet, you're not going to have that opportunity to be that dangerous striker that we know that Ellis is.
Here comes El Zurdo. Swing in. He put it away.
At some point, there has to be an understanding. You have to feel the game, as some of my old coaches used to say. You have to feel the way the ball is flying through the air. And they're continuously, Honduras, off of set pieces, hitting this ball way too far, and it's just flying up and out of bounds.
And probably the most frustrating situation about that play, Kobe, is that comes from one of the leaders, from one of the experienced players that should make the example. Yeah, they should make the example. It was Corona, and now it's Jonah. That's a foul committed over Martinez Hernandez. Yeah, you can make the difference on behalf of your teams of your teammates when you are that experienced guy. The man who can think, distribute the game, drive the ball, but he's not doing that.
Yeah, and I give leeway at the beginning of a match because you're still trying to figure it out, even with warm-up and all that. It still takes about 10, 15 minutes to really get to know the flight during the run of play. But after that, there needs to be some type of consistency. That is why you are a national team player. That's why you're considered one of the best in your country.
Ellis, I don't know if he was aiming for Andino, but he put it away. We suddenly saw Crisanto, and this is Minor from far. And the ball goes wide. At least Minor Alexis tried something.
Well, at least it was a shot on goal, but I'm not going to give it too much credit because I don't think you're going to be scoring on Ochoa from about 50 yards out. That was pretty hopeful.
I understand, but if you see it from the mental point, isn't that like you crush the ball and you yell your teammates, snap out of it, let's play, let's go?
Well, see, I look at that, that's frustration because nothing else is coming. They've got to find a way.
Here's Corona. Very well defended by Crisanto, then the foul over Giovanni. It was the opposite. Have you heard the expression about reading people?
Reading people?
I haven't been able to read this referee. I mean, the way he has been seeing the game, judging the game. You think you're going on his path, and then he turns. And then you think you're getting the idea, and then he turns around again.
Well, that's always difficult. If we're having a tough time, it's difficult for the players especially.
And more if you are playing for the frustrated team like we were talking a couple of minutes ago about Lache. Jonah. Bella. I think Bella had another soft contact on one of his legs. Gio. Aiming. Herrera with the right bazooka leg. And El Zorrillo has been blocked. Now the opportunity for Bonzi. And Huesos was fighting for possession. He won the battle. This is the opportunity for El Tecatito. El Zurdo is behind again. Now Corona, very close, but defending was the man, was the captain, was the Jutipiante, Minor Alexis Figueroa Roches.
Wow, this is just a little bit of a dance here. Hello, poor defending right there by Martinez. And then, hello, I'm going to put this right through the legs. And it ends up being the captain, Minor Figueroa, that has to slide over for that defensive help. The last hope to see that ball out.
First corner kick in the second half for Mexico when Salcedo is down. And these are bad news for the Mexican side because Carlos Joel is in the final ace for the Confederations Cup. Martinez is out. Coming in is Oscar Boniek Garcia.
Well, I think that makes sense. we saw the poor defending that came from Mario Martinez. I think at that point the coach was like, you know what, we've got to make a change here to get a little bit more energy. You know, Boniek Garcia can be that player. He has that individual talent that he can make something happen on his own.
One of the 5 MLSer players that are with Honduras. Set play for Mexico. We're approaching minute 53. And we have the first substitution for Mexico. To cross the header. And over the line, Honduras is saving what seems to be the second for Mexico. One more. Jiménez. And then trying to clear the ball. It was deflected by Jiménez. This is the previous play, Kobe.
And Dos Santos puts it in, and this is just another great opportunity for Mexico as Diego Reyes, he just pulls off of the line. And once again for Honduras, look at that. Nobody is around him, even challenging him on the header. It's a redirected header towards goal. Escobar comes up with the big save.
I believe the ball was deflected by Crisanto, but because he was there, not he tried to deflect it. And my question is, was that a header from Reyes aiming at goal, or he was flicking it to Vela, who was at the far post?
Now that's Reyes going towards goal. I'll tell you, any defender that's in that area and he has a free header, he's thinking, I'm getting a goal. Defenders don't get the glory very much, but when they have the opportunity, they're going for it. And here it is. He thinks that this is going in. It's a little bit of a deflection. Escobar, a great reactionary save. But like you said, Vela at the far post, well, that is just the thinking of a quick-witted striker, knowing that how many balls just go over the inline near that far post, and he's just standing there hoping he can get a nice easy tap in.
Francisco X Rivera is very close to the Mexican bench, and he has another report about the El Tricolor.
Well, you guys talk about the Confederations Cup list, but Mexico also released their 40-man prelim roster for the upcoming Gold Cup in July. There are several guys that are in both lists. Some of them, Rafa Marquez, there's Nestor Araujo, Oribe Peralta, Rodolfo Cota, and even though Juan Carlos Osorio had previously said that no player was actually going to repeat rosters, it seems that he's actually changing his mind. He actually told me yesterday that if some guys are not active or play a little during Russia, they'll actually be on the roster during Gold Cup.
And here comes one of the big questions that we were analyzing after getting the so far last list for the Mexican side. That the left side, it's a much stronger compared to the right one. And if Carlos Salcedo is injured and can't play because he left the game with a problem on his left leg, what's going to happen? Dueñas isn't a part of the finalists. He can be called because there's a window before the beginning of the tournament where you can call other players if it's due to an injury. And there's the second substitution for the Mexican side. Giovanni is out, and El Chucky, Hirving Lozano, it's in. I think Irvin's nickname is very easy, right? Chucky, like the...
Chucky, like the doll?
Yeah.
Okay, that was easy enough.
I'm giving you some slack, my friend.
I like that one. I like Chucky.
Honduras still one goal behind. The header! It was alone! Maynard Figueroa tried it and put it over the crossbar, defended by Paco Memo Ochoa.
Juan Carlos Osorio can be frustrated on that one because that was a great opportunity. A far ball drifting to the back post, and Maynard Figueroa, just a nice bending run to be able to get his head on this one. You know, and he gets into the position where he's able to out-jump his mark.
Alanís.
And you can see the frustration. Figueroa knows that he has to get that one at least on target to test Ochoa in the net.
Is Honduras pulling up their lines?
It looks like they're finally starting to go for it to make a little bit of a push in this second half. I think the addition Boniek Garcia has really helped, as he's going to be an offensive-minded only type of player that has a little bit more speed. So that will push the back line a little bit of Mexico.
Here comes a cross from Boniek. No luck this time for Garcia Ramirez. I kind of sense a big confusion between Boniek and Crisanto. Oscar was signaling El Calaverita where to move, but suddenly Felix Joan just stood there, flat feet.
Well, sometimes it's difficult for a player that has just come into the game to be able to have that relationship with someone that's been playing for a 50-some plus odd minutes at Azteca Stadium. The player that's been on the field, a little bit more tired, a little bit slower to react maybe, and not understanding everything that you want from them.
Yeah, but I insist that for that, you need to work, you need to try the players to know each other, how they think, what they want. There was another substitution for the Honduran side. Robert Kyoto is in. Another player from Houston Dynamo. And Eric Andino is out. So we have 2 substitutions per side. Only 1 remaining for each coach. Boniek with the flicker. Now there's a foul. Yes, it was. Herrera over Claros. Defending is Vela. Trying to push the lines away from La Bicolor. The Mexican side, Jimenez stealing the ball. The partner is Lozano. And now the one intercepted is El Rulo. Oops. About to lose the ball. That was Johnny Palacios. Izaguirre aiming for Ellis. Now it's Bonzi. Lead pass for Corona. Tecatito in the penalty area with a cross! Side to side! No Mexican player was able to finish it. And Mexico just lost the opportunity to widen his lead 2-0.
Well, Honduras is getting caught with that high line once again. And as they are pushing more numbers forward, playing a little bit more aggressive from the back line, you're going to see more of this from Mexico. Players trying to beat that trap. And it's so interesting to me that the keeper isn't playing very far off of his line. So there's going to be a lot of space for Mexico to attack into.
Here's Vela. From Herrera. And then Alanís. Now it's Jonah. The chipper. Lozano with the right. Ooh! He thought, he tried, and he put it over the crossbar, but Honduras was about to feel the power of Chucky.
Yeah, well, you can see there's the line again. He's in an onside position, but this time instead of really breaking the line, it's coming from that outside in position. And I have to wonder why Escobar is taking so long to get off of his line. He comes out, gets trapped in no man's land, and very lucky that Chucky puts it over the bar. Do you like how I use that? I use the nickname.
The power of Chucky. You and I are in the same frequency, my friend. The big difference is that you're a Hall of Famer and I'm not. Here's Boniek with the cross. Well defended. And now Reyes clearing it. Jimenez. Vela. And it's Lozano. Mano y mano con Izaguirre. Minor. One more try, aiming for Ellis.
Alanís has done an excellent job in the back line of Mexico, just eating up any long ball that has come his way, being able to chest it and bring it down, being able to head him out. That is confidence, and that's what was wanted from Osorio, is someone in that back line to exude confidence and take over the back line.
Reyes. I think that was a foul over Jiménez. The other Reyes. The bomber. Where's Vela? It hasn't been the super player we were expecting for Lozano for the second opportunity to break away with the run!
When you play a high line like this, he's in an onside position. You play a high line when your keeper is sitting on the goal line and there's no pressure on the ball. Look at that, no pressure on the service whatsoever. You will get beat all day. I could go out there now and still make these runs and get the ball. This is absolutely brilliant by Hirving Lozano. That outside in run again, a great service over the top, and Lozano is able to celebrate.
And if there's a man who has been able to change the destiny of this match, that's Hirving Lozano. Hold on. I'm going to hold that name. It's been the power of Chucky.
All right. Chucky gets the goal. But I'm still wondering, what is Honduras thinking with that line? You cannot, that is soccer 101. You cannot have a high line like that with your keeper sitting so far back and no pressure on the service. There is no one within 5 yards of the service, so the player is able to just pick his head up, look to see who is running, has the pace to get behind, and just pick out exactly where you want to put it.
And somebody who knows personally the power of Chucky, who has been following Hirving Lozano closely for the last couple of weeks, that's Francisco X Rivera. What is your report, my friend?
Well, Jorge, such an important goal for Hirving Lozano. He has been under such media scrutiny with comments about him underachieving with the Mexican national team despite the great performances with Pachuca. And something else that's obviously distracting him right now, all the talk about him leaving Pachuca for Celta in Spain. We've heard that talks are very advanced and he might be leaving Mexico pretty soon. So an important, very important goal for Hirving Lozano.
Thank you to the X-Man. There's been a couple of rumors around Lozano. One of them was, where is he going to keep playing the next season? But also that apparently there were a couple of offers. One coming from England, that the money wasn't what Pachuca wanted. And the other one coming from Germany. But apparently Lozano said that if he was going to play in Europe, he wanted to do it in Spain, not in Germany, due to the language. Same thing happened with a proposal coming from the Netherlands.
Well, it's good to have choices, isn't it? You know, when you have the option to go with different places.
Here's Vela to Jimenez with the left, the chipper! Goal!
Once again, a high line by Honduras, and this is just a brilliant ball that's just played in, and Jimenez, as Escobar slowly comes out, just a little chip, and this is just a true striker's goal. There's a little bit of a glance, the knowledge of where the keeper is, and this one, it's just got to make you smile, because this really puts an exclamation point on this match. Puts an exclamation point on Azteca Stadium. Puts an exclamation point on this Mexican national team being the leaders right now of the Hex.
Raúl Jiménez trusts himself. Certainly, after Real Madrid beat Juventus At the final of the UEFA Champions League, Cristiano Ronaldo was selected to be the cover of a very popular video game. And Raúl Jiménez made news saying, if Cristiano Ronaldo is going to be the cover around the world, I want to be the cover of the same video game in Portugal. Why not? He won the Taça de Portugal as I did last Sunday. Another one for Chucky! Oh my! Oh my! Hirving Lozano had it, he tried it, and he put it over the crossbar!
This is just a brilliant performance by Mexico right now, but as we take a look at Hirving Lozano, gets in behind the defense once again. Reactionary runs by the defense of Honduras. It's almost like they're always a step behind. At this point defensively, you've got to say, okay, let's drop in a little bit. Let's not have players consistently getting behind us, because look, it's 3-0, and there is plenty of time left, over 20 minutes left in this match. Now it's about pride for Honduras. It's about pride. You have to get some type of prideful result for your national team, for your country, for yourself.
Third and last substitution for Mexico. Oribe Peralta Morones is coming in, and the one leaving the game, it's going to be Jesus Corona. Foul over Herrera. It's 69 minutes. So sad when the game was so tight and Honduras was aiming to tie it. Then there came Hirving Lozano, making La Bicolor feel the power of Chucky. What a talent. And what a crack to be he can be, because he's still developing as a soccer player.
And that's great, to be young and still be on the uptick and have the options that he has. You know, it really tells that the future is bright for Mexico and all the opportunities that they're going to have with players in the future.
They're Jonah fighting for possession. Falling behind and committing the foul. We're going back to the pitch of El Estadio Azteca for another report with the X-Man, Francisco X Rivera.
Guys, we cannot underestimate the fact that Carlos Vela finally showed up in a press conference in the last 5 years. He talks about the great mood and the great environment around Mexico's camp right now. I've been through tournaments, whole tournaments, in which Mexico hasn't really talked to the media actually at all. Except obviously to us and rights holders across the U.S. and Mexico. With that said, it was a funny thing. It was a good environment there during the press conference. In the beginning, Vela's microphone didn't even work, and Vela was joking around saying, well, it's good that it's off. I don't even want to answer questions. But that obviously changed, and we knew the mood was actually pretty positive.
Long ball aiming for Ellis, and that was easy to control for Paco Memo Ochoa. We were having a conversation right before the kickoff of this game, Kobe Jones and myself, about those attitudes that we usually have when we are younger. Life sometimes is tough on us, and finally we understand, we live, we appreciate what we have. And the good news for Carlos Vela is that he realized everything around him while he still can play the game. So now he's back. He has all his talent on him. There were some rumors that he might go back to play for Chivas. He said it was just a rumor, it wasn't true. The question is if he will remain as a Real Sociedad player, but at 28 years old, he's at the peak of his career.
Yeah, the peak of your career, you're really into the prime of your playing ability. And I think it's because physically you're starting to peak, but also mentally you're starting to mature. And I think that's what's really affected him in Vela and really becoming that total player where all of a sudden he's back with the national team, back into a good mood, back into really becoming a star, you know, for the side, becoming something more as one of the players that everyone's looking to to be something more.
Probably another thing that helped El Bombardero was the factor that he became a father recently. You learn.
That'll definitely make you mature really quick.
That makes you settle down. As we were looking at the standings so far, Mexico apparently is settling down as the leader of this hex, the road to Russia in CONCACAF. Jimenez from far, putting it wide. We're very close to reach minute 73. It's 3-0. And it doesn't matter that his team is winning, that it is his birthday. Juan Carlos Osorio Arbeláez, it's not happy with the moves that his players are doing right now on the pitch.
I don't think he wants his players to settle, and he wants them to see out the full match in preparation for what's coming next. He understands that you cannot let down at any time, because if you do, that can become a habit, and you can pay for it in the long run.
You need to learn 2 words for the next time we have Professor Osorio on the screen. Are you ready?
Yes.
Feliz cumpleaños.
Happy birthday?
Yes, but do it in Spanish.
Feliz, I got that part.
Cumpleaños.
Cumpleaños.
Woof.
Feliz
You're there,
cumpleaños.
my friend. And that's a foul. Oribe suffering the first clash with minor Alexis Figueroa. For a moment, there was a rumor linking Oribe Peralta with the MLS. Everything went south. Nothing happened. We could have seen these two playing the Major League Soccer. Minor as a great central defender with FC Dallas.
There's always a lot of opportunity for these players. As we're seeing, as the sport grows, there's more professional clubs, a lot more happening.
Vela driving, aiming, and he lost the ball. I'm sorry, Cubby, I interrupted you.
No, I'm just saying, with the respect that MLS has now, you're seeing a lot of players willing to come into MLS.
This is the list of the 5 MLSers playing for Honduras. Called for this game and the next one. 3 from Houston Dynamo. Bonic has made a name for himself playing for that franchise. Kyoto still, as Ellis, trying to make a name for themselves. This is Bumsy. Reyes with the cross. And it was the captain, the Jutiapense, Minor Alexis, sending it away. And it's going to be a corner kick for El Tricolor. The report we have between Panama and Costa Rica is that they're still tied 0-0. Jonah from the left to high. Los Ticos playing with 1 man down, only with 10 for the last 20 minutes. Still 0-0. Another cross, looking for the far post, and that was too high for Oribe Peralta Morones. This is a good task for you. You know Oribe's nickname?
Can't say that I do.
Cepillo.
Cepillo.
Brush. Like hairbrush?
Yeah.
There you go.
Cepillo. Does every player have a nickname?
Almost. And if not, you can come up with whatever you think.
Fair enough. See if I can have some for the next game.
Oof. And what about the next game? That's a super duper next game, Kobe Jones.
Sunday. It's coming quick.
Starting at 7:30 Eastern Time. The clash, the battle for CONCACAF. Mexico went to Columbus finally to end with the curse of Columbus. The curse of the 2-0. That was a foul. committed by Johnny Eulogio Palacios.
I feel there's a lot of this group of players has taken on a lot as a national team, the responsibility of wearing the jersey, and they've been successful, breaking the curse of the 2-0. And I'll let you say it correctly. Is the Azteco?
Aztecaso?
Aztecaso. They looks like they're going to be breaking that as well. The results that Honduras have had. The previous coach that was there for Costa Rica.
Here comes Jimenez with the ball through. Oribe! There was a little touch, but no, my friend. There was an offside. Sanctioned by Drew Fisher.
And listen to the fans. They don't care. Ooh, he's in an onside position, so I think the fans are correct on that one. And that could have been a penalty. If that had been allowed to play out, the correct call was made, it would have been onside, and then that would have been a penalty for Mexico.
But the comment you were mentioning going on Sunday, you and I belong to the same generation. How about if we call it Aztecaso Episode 3?
Aztecaso Episode 3.
And you can add like some sound effects like...
I'll let you do the sound effects.
We're less than 12 minutes away to the end of regulation. The party will be complete for Juan Carlos Osorio Arbeláez. The first half of the Hex will be completed. 4 wins, 1 draw for the Mexican side. The first position with 1 more game to go before playing in Confederations Cup. Vela. And it's Palacios clearing the ball. The lonely man. In front, it's Ellis.
And this result's so important for Juan Carlos Osorio because regardless of the results that he's gotten before, there's been pressure on him. He's won multiple games outside of Azteca. Still pressure on him. Coming into this game, this was probably the most pressure-filled game because if you do not get a result in this one, there's going to be questions galore, pressure if Osorio is the right coach for this team. But to get the result here, and a significant one at that, helps him tremendously going into the Confederations Cup.
Vela dropping the ball for Herrera. Tonight, Honduras is visiting Estadio Azteca for its 10th time. The last 2, they win 1, and they tied another one. This could be potentially their 8th defeat and 10 visits to the Colossus of St. Ursula. They have scored 4 goals, and with the 3 of tonight, they have conceded 21. Tough numbers. But also for a tough team that when they host the Mexicans, they have made them pay. 4 wins, 3 draws, only 3 losses as the home team, La Bicolor. Oribe, that is to control it. And there's Escobar. Aiming his teammates. Come on, let's do something. Let's wake up. How do you wake up from this type of situations, Kobe? At least 1 goal will be a mental victory.
And that's exactly it. It's about getting at least 1 goal. This is just about pride. I mentioned it before for this Honduran side. You know, I believe.
Wide ball for Lozano. Looking for partners. It wasn't for Oribe. Bang! Right bazooka leg. And Raúl Alonso Jiménez Rodríguez put it away.
Well, the few times that Honduras do get...
Go! Feliz cumpleaños! Go!
Feliz cumpleaños.
There you go. There you go.
As Honduras push forward and they turn over the ball, Mexico is quick to counter, and that's when Honduras gets exposed. because they push that high lineup, balls over the top. We're seeing Hirving Lozano, we're seeing Raúl Jiménez, everyone taking advantage of that, getting beyond and getting numbers into the box. They're just quicker to react at this point in the match.
I think I saw a handball from Oribe. Drew Fisher didn't sanction it. Moldona delivers to Chucky. Ball deflected. And it's going to be a throw-in for the Mexican side. Close to the 83rd minute. That was a foul. It was from behind. But no yellow card. Vela has been punished this game.
Yeah, Vela's taken a few hits. And look, he's got to understand this. He's one of the players that is the creative one for Mexico. Other teams know that. They're going to come after you. There will be fouls. There will be sending messages. Finding different ways of trying to slow him down.
But would you be using Vela against the Honduran side, risking him not to be able to play against Team USA? Or you're trying to balance those inexperienced players at this level with Gio, Vela?
Well, I've tried to guess what Juan Carlos Osorio is doing in the past, and it hasn't quite worked out. I would think that Vela would have been one of my substitutions to try to have him available for the game against the United States. But going a full 90 here, maybe the thinking is that against the United States, Vela will come off the bench, maybe play 20 or 30 minutes in that game.
And what about El Chucky? Would you give him the big chance to be part of the starting 11 at that such stage?
I think so. I think you could probably put him in on one of the flanks. You know, have him play on that side, especially after the showing here. He's been very successful. But I just think for Juan Carlos Osorio, I think he's a smart enough coach to understand that there's a significant difference between playing against Honduras and playing against the United States.
Vela, one possession. He was being followed, and that wasn't a foul by this squad. Lozano giving it to Vela. 85 minutes. It's 3-0. Oswaldo Alanís, Hirving Lozano, Raúl Jiménez. One more for El Rulo to put it behind. Oribe. Now it's Reyes. Bouncy. Being rejected by Izaguirre. Chucky. Mano a mano versus Milo. Right, left. Foul. Committed by Izaguirre Girón. Over Lozano Baena.
Very smart play by Lozano. As he moves this ball past him, you watch, he puts that foot in between the player and the ball. So as Aguirre comes in to try to win the ball, it's an automatic foul. So a set piece for Mexico in a dangerous position once again.
This could be the last one. Set play, or would it be a direct kick? That's the question. Two on the wall. Outswing. Oribe was aiming for the header. Palacios. And that ball belongs to Donis, Salatier, Escobar, Izaguirre.
Now you can see Honduras now. I can tell you, as a team, they just want to get out of the game. 3-0, and they're happy at this point. They do not want to take an extra goal. Everything out of the back really isn't trying to play to anyone up front. It's just clearing it down the field.
That's becoming a heavy monkey on La Bicolor's back. The 6 that they got from Team USA, and now the 3 in Mexico City. Well, that could make the difference between being able to get the wild card or not.
Yeah, when you take a massive amount of goals like this, you tend to think, I just want to get out of this game and let's get it over with. But in the long run, games like this end up hurting. As we get towards the end of the Hex play, teams are going to start looking for that 4th spot, and goal differential is going to be a huge part of it.
And if we were talking about controversies around Juan Carlos Osorio, that is the same situation that el profesor Jorge Luis Pinto Afanador lives. He's a controversial personality. And he's going to be criticized after this result by the Honduran press. You think this is the type of result, especially at the stage we are at the end of the first half of the Hex, that Honduras can think about changing their manager?
I think they can, because at where they are, they're probably thinking, what do we have to lose? It can't get much worse than it is. They may look to examples of other teams like United States that have done something along the lines where they made the change in the manager. So we'll see if Honduras sticks with what they have so far, because as you said, there's controversy already. People are not happy with it. And then you go into Mexico and in the first half of the Hex with a 3-0 loss and put yourself in a precarious spot to most likely not make it to the World Cup. I'm sure the higher-ups are saying, okay, who can step in and get the job done?
The biggest problem for La Bicolor is that after the first 5 games, it's not only that they were barely able to win 4 out of 15 points. The problem is that they already played 3 games at home. And that's an advantage that you can't let go if you really want to attend a FIFA World Cup.
Yeah, you need to win your home games.
You can't lose points at home. Here's Raúl. Now it's Herrera. Jonah. Now Vela. The opportunity is for Dueñas. To the move. Lozano with the cross, and it's going from right to left. Rich, the 90th minute.
That picture right there is the example. Everyone walking slowly to the ball, wanting to see the end of the match and to get over with it. And remember, this game, it's at Azteca. It's at altitude. And for Honduras, they are probably absolutely exhausted physically and mentally and just want to see this game out.
Did you ever run out of air playing in Estadio Azteca?
Oh, yes. Oh, yes. There's always oxygen tanks on the side, oxygen tanks in the locker room, so you can try to get that second win.
Vela looking probably for the last one for the Mexican side. This is Bonzi. El Huesos with a strike. Not a good one. Herrera. One more for El Zorrillo. Jonah. We're reaching the 91st minute. And this will be the last one for El Chucky. Mano a mano with Izaguirre. Left, right. He lost possession. And there's no more. There's Drew Fisher saying, this is over. 3-0. Oswaldo Alanís Pantoja. El Chucky. Hirving Lozano Baena. And El Rulo, Raúl Alonso Jiménez Rodríguez gave Mexico 3 more points and a happy birthday present to Juan Carlos Osorio Arbeláez. We'll go to break and we'll come back to end this